this topic has kind of been touched on throughout the day, so I'll just maybe highlight just sharing my thoughts. Pretty much from the barnyard and my experience as I work with farmers on farm, and our relationship with animals and the impact of AI, at least what I think about and worry about. I'm glad I'm not the only one who worries. Good? Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Glad I'm not the only one who worries about this stuff. So my question is the risk of AI eroding the caregiver competence and undermining compassion on farm. Quick disclaimer and conflict of interest thing that has to go, so yada, yada, yada. Read it, work for a nonprofit. Come to the website in a few months when we update our financials for 2024. If you're interested, feel free. Contact me, happy to chat. So I actually realized that this article that was a nice, got me thinking about it. I read it. You actually talked about it last year if you were in part of this conference. I read it and I was like, yes, that's what I've been thinking about. And she did a really great job putting it into words. So she's a better writer than me, but it spurred my thinking about it a little bit more. And kind of how it distills. So if we look at AI in theory, what we think it's going to do is intelligently manage data. So ideally, we'll get individualized care, ensure that animals are treated as individuals, which would be lovely. We'd get predictive prevention, right? So we'd have constant monitoring of animals and the environment, and this will allow prevention of diseases, which would be splendid. We can micromanage environments, so we can have predictive modeling that will allow us to micromanage the environment of the animals that they're living. So that would help us do intensive managed grazing and all these wonderful things that are all positive. Again, so adaptive grazing, data-driven management of feeding to protect not only the animals but the environment. It can improve soil health, so lots of brilliantly good things can happen. And then it increased vigilance, so we can get to 24/7, 365 monitoring of an individual animal every day. So all of this would be ideal. My concerns, so what I see AI in practice is that, as we tend to do already, is we use the math, right? So the math isn't mathing, so we start leveraging the data to maximize profit. People have talked about that, and managing to the average, right? So the bell curves on either side kind of don't get their fair share. A little concerning. We incentivize intensification. It's been mentioned several times today. So I think recognizing that tech's access is limited by scale currently. There's questions of affordability and adaptability, which are huge. So who gets to use the technology? Replace and reduce labor. So I have a huge interest on the caregiver side. So if we look at where most farms see the value in this, there's a cost savings in labor. This is going to escalate as we have conversations around the current climate, and I won't even go that way. But it's used to solve labor challenges, right? So where does that take us? And I think that's where a lot of my concern comes from. And the biggest one really is when it boils down to, are we going to erode competence and empathy in our caregivers? So are we replacing notifications with intuition, which is critical in what we do? Is empathy going to be undermined by data? And is the duty of care dismissed by digital vigilance? And what's the impact of that? So we'll use this as a case of, as I see in my years of auditing, thousands of audits, time spent on farm, and unfortunately what I've seen is a eroding of folks' empathy, and we've replaced, what we see a lot on farm is this drive towards box checking and compliance. So that's the mindset, is we just got to get compliant with everything. And really, as the goal is, how do we actually lead with empathy? How do we build empathy and encourage the growth of compassion on farm? Because what I've seen in my experience is if you tap into those farmers who really naturally come to the table with empathy, they come up with the ideas that we need on farm to increase and improve welfare. And this is, so my question is vote, you can vote in the room. Who do you want taking care of your animals? You want this dude? Or you want this guy? So I jokingly say, so I could save millions of dollars a year on audits if I just put cats on every farm. So I do a lot of auditing, but I can tell you that the barn cat's bathrooms and break rooms are the three things I can look at on a farm in 5 minutes, and I can tell you how the day's going to go. So this gentleman came to us and worked with us on a grant because and I didn't know that he loved his cat so much before we did the project. But that's the kind of guy who is thinking about his pigs enough to say, I have an idea, and I think I can figure out how to feed my pigs better. So we worked with him. Oh, do I get to push it? How do I go? Come here. because you have to see this, because, oh no, okay. Well, come see me, and you'll get to see an awesome video of pigs just being happy. So anyway, so that's the kind of guy who comes to us and says, I have an idea because I want to make my pigs happy. Awesome. And time's up. So you'll have to come to me. And my hope here was just to spur discussion and get to see y'all.